escalated pretty quickly, didn't it? Not 5 minutes ago, we were in August starting the 24-25 EFL Championship season. And here we are, right at the business end of it. 11 games to go. That is the final 23% of the season coming up. We have a 3-game week, which means we'll go into the international break with only 8 games to play. Then we play round 39 and then another 3-game week. Bang, bang, bang. And we are up to Easter, which is late this year, rounds 43 and 44. That brilliant doubleheader we all love. Good Friday, Easter Monday. And then, will it all be done by then? Will there be more to sort out? Rounds 45 and 46, the final 2 games of the season after that. We're going to have a look at everybody's fixtures in this automatic promotion race. You can get your thoughts in via the comments. The next few things I'm going to do, people get their knickers in a knot over this stuff. It is purely data presentation. This is not my opinion. This is objective data that is in the public domain. You choose to interpret it however you see fit. I am merely presenting it. Everybody stay calm. We're going to have a look at the average league positions for, I'm looking at the top 4 and the automatic promotion places. And it looks best for Leeds. And again, choose to interpret the data however you see fit. We'll have a look at the form table in a minute as opposed to the league table. I'm just telling you the average league position. Whatever that means to you is what it means to you. But in terms of numbers, Leeds, if you believe the league table is a good guide of who are the best teams and who are the worst teams, Leeds had the easiest running. Average opponent position of 13. A little bit back, 11.55 Sheffield United. Burnley in 3rd place have it the hardest out of the 4. But there is going to be good news, Burnley fans, when we come to the form table, which you may consider more relevant, especially if you've got a dog in the fight in this one. We all know how this works, don't we? Somewhere there in the middle between Sheffield United and Burnley is Sunderland with 10.55. But if you look at it in the cold light of day, on average, Leeds are playing a bottom half side. The others are playing top half sides. But you do have to take that with a pinch of salt because obviously to get the averages, there's only one head-to-head game. Spoiler alert. So we're kind of looking 5th down for a lot of these teams. Anyway, right. If you believe that the form table, and I've used the 8-game form table, would be a better guide, personally, I do. But you choose to interpret the data however you see fit. This is what it looks like in terms of the form over the past 8 games of everybody's opponents. And it actually gets even better for Leeds. Look at that. I'm going to switch between the two. It's 13th place league position. But when you actually look at the form table, that drops off another 1.36 places. So Leeds' average opponent in the form table is lower than 14th, incredibly. For Sheffield United, it actually gets ever so slightly harder. But, you know, what we're talking about, 0.55 to 0.36 there. So kind of intimates that the form table and the league table are matching up a little bit when it comes to Sheffield United's opponents. There's the good news for Burnley. Look, they're the outlier there at 9.64 on the league table positions. But it actually drops back off below the number of Sheffield United and Sunderland there. So the form table and the league table telling us 2 different things. And Sunderland, I'll flip back again, 10.55, 10.6, which is pretty much exactly the same, isn't it? So what we're learning is it looks like Leeds have the easiest running when you look at that data. And maybe it evens up a bit if we adjust for form as opposed to league position when it comes to the opponents for Burnley. Let's have a look at some other stuff in the running. And Coventry City. Now, what the hell have Coventry City got to do with the promotion running? They're not in it. They might be in the playoff running. But when we did the form table, position number 1 is Coventry. Over the last 8 games, they've been the best team in the league. 7 wins in 8. That may be an outlier running, but again, I'm using the data at mine and your disposal. And what we find with Coventry is they play back-to-back 3 of our top 4. Sunderland, Sheffield United and Burnley. Now, you will notice there, it's not actually crammed together as badly as you might have thought. Back-to-back is actually one side of the international break and then the other side of the international break. So there's no argument really that they're not going to rest between playing Sunderland there and then Sheffield United. They also play two of these sides at home there. Only Sheffield United have to go to Coventry. So will Coventry be a big factor? Will their spike end just by virtue of the fact that they're going to be playing three of the top four in the table? Or will they be a potential kingmaker or destroyer here? Obviously, if you're a fan of one of those sides, you hope they beat the other two and lose against you. Maybe Burnley have got it the best. Are they going to be softened up a little bit after those two? Coventry are going to be a factor, particularly if they can maintain the form they're in at the moment. And we know that Sheaf is coming back. Hadji Wright will certainly be back, I reckon, for all of them as a potential starter. All looking good there. Coventry could be a factor. Leeds, don't play them. Speaking of Leeds, let's look for some quirks there. We've already established when it comes to league position and table form position, 8-game form table position, Leeds have the best running. The only fly in the ointment, as far as I can see, is the away games. And the next 4 away games, look, Pompey have been really good at home, haven't they? QPR they're not in great form, but it's always tight and it's always tricky. And Leeds had a chastening defeat there in the run-in last season, didn't they? Luton is an interesting one. Luton's the kind of outlier where when you look at form table and you look at league table, Luton away will come out as an easy game because they're down the bottom. It's not going to be an easy game, is it? They're going to be scrapping. They're grossly underperforming both the form table and the league table. So I know that pops out. And Borough away. Or, they gave Leeds a really, really good game in the EFL Cup earlier in the season, didn't they? I know there's a lot of mitigating factors around that. But I don't know. That's the only thing that really popped out when I looked at the running for Leeds. I mean, they've been so good at home. But you feel they, probably need to win a couple of those to give themselves some headroom if there's going to be slips in the others. But we are at the point now where if Leeds were to just win at home, draw away, 2 points per game, they are pretty well home and hosed and closing in on 100 points, aren't they? Sheffield United. Now, this is far more interesting. Look at that. Good start. 4 of the first 6 of this last 11 games are at home for Sheffield United, and they have been extremely good. I know they're brilliant away, but they've been extremely good at home as well, especially with clean sheets and those type of victories. Couple of things pop out, and I know you all know about that one at the bottom. But again, when you're looking for outlier games that don't pop up on the data, Sheffield Wednesday at the moment, according to the league table and the form table, is not a difficult game. Everybody who watches football knows that when you have a massively fierce emotional rivalry, it's never an easy game. Whatever the league table is saying, there's always that tension around it, and it can take a lot out of fans and a lot out of players at the same time. And then there you have it. And it's Easter Monday, isn't it? If it's round 44, the back end of the Easter doubleheader. Maybe that's the whole video in microcosm. That if Leeds have the easier run-in and Sunderland are a few points back and things stay tight, we could have a promotion decider on Easter Monday in round 44 between Burnley and Sheffield United. And look, Sheffield United have to go away to Burnley. I know we said, look, 4 of 6 at home. Hey, they could have leveraged that and have a nice distance between them between now and then. We don't know. I will remind you, sort of Christmas time, was it? That it was Sheffield United 0, Burnley 2, wasn't it? So they've already got form for beating the Blades this season. Burnley. Speaking of Burnley, forget the average number. What I will tell you is right now, Burnley's running 7 of the top half teams. 7 of 11 are top half teams that Burnley have to face. And you've sort of got awkward games in there like Norwich and Watford and Bristol City alongside that Sheffield United game. And then 2 of the top 6, they've got Coventry, they've got West Brom as well. Just players in those squads that, can win you games. You've got ex-parachute teams like Norwich and Watford, and you've got Bristol City sniffing around the edges of the playoffs. And of course, West Brom, Coventry in there. And again, the massive head-to-head, which could decide it all, couldn't it, on round 44. That could be a massive, decisive moment with only 2 rounds to go. Let's factor Sunderland back into it. They really need a big run, Sunderland, to close up the gap that has landed in there. Remember, there was that head-to-head defeat against Leeds late in the day, and then they had the home defeat, didn't they, against Hull as well. The thing I didn't like when I looked at Sunderland's fixtures is the next 4 away games. That's tricky, isn't it? Coventry away, they're number 1 in the form chart. West Brom are also in the top 6. Norwich, might they be closer then? And remember Norwich from about, October 23 to October 24, even further, were unbeaten at home, weren't they? For a heck of a run. Bristol City are very good at home, and their playoff kind of challenge has been predicated on their home patch there at Ashton Gate. There you go. That is a look at the running. I mean, my thought, if I try and park what I've learned from the first 35 rounds and just look at the last 11 here, and I was looking at just in the cold light of day, you would have to favour Leeds, and the first 35 rounds would tell you that, but you can double down in terms of their fixtures on paper, the data showing that they are the easiest. Sunderland have got that big gap to make up, and having those fixtures front-loaded with difficult away games does not make it easy. They need to win. Do you know, they probably need to win at least 2, maybe even 3 of those away games, really, to, close up on the top 2. If that's all the case, we're looking at Sheffield United and Burnley, who have been so close. If Sheffield United can leverage those 4 home games out of 6 and take it into the head-to-head with an advantage, they're going to want to be able to go and nail everything down and go into the head-to-head in round 44 against Burnley. Maybe that if they were to draw the game, it wouldn't be a disaster. They'd probably want to have it where Burnley have to beat them. And Burnley will be looking at it as well, that if they are on the shoulder, level, or God, even better, but even if they're just on the shoulder, can they make the overtake in round 44? And it only leaves 2 rounds for Sheffield United to respond. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. Let me know your thoughts on the run-in there. Again, it's a lot of data presented, so you choose to interpret it how you like. If you would have used other data, be my guest. Anything public domain, use it. Get it down there in the comments and do your own homework and your own working out there. But if you want to just give your opinion, and please give your opinion based on the fixtures that are coming up, rather than what's going to be best for your heart and your soul, which means with your identity connected to the football team you support and that giving you meaning in your life, you just want them to win by any means necessary. But can you do it the other way around? Give me your thoughts and opinions on that run-in and how it's going to play out between the top 4 in the EFL Championship.